Greetings everyone! Today's video is going to be the start of a series that is all about archetypes and our soul paths that we take when we have those archetypes built within us. Carl Jung described 12 and they all contain patterns that will show up in our own lives. The goal is to recognize the archetype that we take on within ourselves so that we are no longer just living subconsciously from that program that we have within us. So as soon as you become aware of the archetype blueprint that you come into the world with, you can actually alter and change your archetype and take on any archetype of your choice. Also, what I really want people to learn how to do is to understand that they are actually all archetypes, or they can combine and become all archetypes. And that is really the goal, is to wake up and to understand that you are in control and that all of the archetypes that are playing out is something that is in your potential to be. An archetype would be best described if our universal consciousness was a supercomputer or artificial intelligence. Every single soul on earth would be programmed before coming into the world, and that would determine the type of life path that you take. Well, we are not actually figments of a artificial intelligence. We are our own creators. We're the universe experiencing itself subjectively. So when we come into the world, we do have a story that plays out within our life. There are a few archetypes that we take on, and I'm going to talk about the main 12 that Carl Jung expressed. This is the first video on the order archetypes. These are the 3 archetypes that are focused around order and maintaining order within the world and the universe. So the first one I have here is the ruler. If you come in with an archetype of the ruler, you are going to feel like you're born to rule. This is where the person has an idea that they are in divine rule of the kings. They are somebody that was destined to rule others and be a leader to others. They will just have this kind of feeling within them, and that is the subconscious program that is running within them, telling this to them. So there are some positive experiences within that archetype path, and there are some negative experiences. And once you are aware of them both, you can choose to be just aware of you taking on that archetype, and then you could change it if you want. So a positive about the ruler archetype is that if you come in with an archetype soul of the ruler, then you will create movements, organizations, and kingdoms based on order. So instead of chaos and randomness, you will have order. And this is where law and moral law come in order to help keep society in a state where people feel safe and secure, and it's not random chaotic lawlessness that can happen that would make their citizens feel like they're not safe and secure. Now the negative part of that would be a dictator or a tyrant, somebody who is trying to control others. So then it can go into the negative experience if you come in with the archetype of the ruler. And so you have to watch how you are choosing to rule over others. And that's why good kings are those that are really focused on the citizens and the benefit for all, versus the ones that are just trying to live out their own life, their own type of inner laws, and really not pay attention to what the masses and the collective wants. The other positive part of this soul path is that you become a moral leader to others. So then people will look up to you knowing that you have a sense of morality within you and that you can lead people through this. You can actually help lead them on a path of making the right choices and taking the high grounds and doing things that are going to be in flow with the universal laws of life, creation, and goodness. But the negative part of this is that you can be an immoral leader, in which we see with Caligula and a lot of different types of kings and rulers that have been part of our history that didn't have a real strong set of moral balance. their morals were more subjective rather than objective. And so their morals really centered on what they wanted and what they wished to experience, but it wasn't really for the good of all. So that could be the negative part of carrying that archetype of the ruler, but you're immoral and you haven't really established the set of moral laws within you, and that can lead people the wrong way. Another positive part of this life path is that you have balanced control over yourself and over your life. So somebody who takes on the ruler archetype, they might not even have to lead anybody or be a king at all. But if you come in and you're just an everyday citizen, but you have the ruler archetype, you will be somebody that people can look up to, and you will be a sovereign being. You may not listen to those that are in charge that are forcing you to do something that's immoral, because you will already have that sovereignty within you. So that's a positive thing. Now the negative part is that if you are trying to control others in your life, so the positive is if you are in control of yourself and you reach that nice balance within where you're not really following others outside of the self, but you're following your own heart and your own path. And then the negative part of that is when you're trying to control others in your life. So also you can go to the extreme where you are in control of yourself and you feel like a sovereign being, but then you try to control others and dominate over others in your life. So if you are aware of these ways that you can have the positive and the negative experience within the archetype of the ruler, you can alter that. If you don't want to be the ruler anymore or carry that archetype within you, then you just need to be aware of it and move on to the next stage. So the next one I want to talk about, this is the soul type of the hero. Now the hero is also part of the order category because they too are looking for a type of order within society, and they take on the role of being a facilitator of order in society, because disorder to them would be when people are taken advantage of and there is injustice in the world where the innocent are harmed. And so a hero will have a sense of guardianship. They come into the world just that type of person that always looks out for the underdog, always looks for a way to actually stand up for others that can't find their own voice. A hero is somebody who saves lives, who comes in the nick of time to save somebody from somebody else. A hero will have this sense of duty and obligation to keep the order in society. And a lot of times the heroes will battle those that are in the other archetypes of the rebels or the outlaws. So a hero archetype, if a policeman or somebody who is a law enforcer comes in and has a positive type of polarization of that archetype, then they will be somebody who wants to keep the order in society and put away the criminals and those who harm others. So here's a positive way of experiencing that archetype path. You will be in defense of the underdogs in your life. So you will be the one to stand up for others that can't really find their voice. A good example of that would be if you are somebody in high school and you see somebody being made fun of or bullied. If you have the hero archetype within your blueprint, then you will be the one to stand up and speak up for that person. That will be part of your experience a lot. You will notice that within yourself. And then the negative part of that is when you're always making everything a fight, even over ideas or ideals within yourself. If you're trying to constantly battle others, you are then going to be imbalanced with this archetype within you, and it can cause your own suffering and your own problems, because if you're always looking for a fight or you want to fight others, then you're going to experience that. Another positive part of this is that you stand up to corruption and injustice in the world. We need these souls, because when we have rulers and those in charge who have the ruler archetype, who become dictators or tyrants and they don't lead others in the positive way, well then we do need the hero to come forward. I mean, Aragorn was an example of this, that when we had Sauron trying to become a dictator and rule over Middle Earth, of course we have Aragorn, the hero archetype, rise up to his rightful place. And so that soul will stand up to corruption and injustice, and they will be noticed for that. But a negative part of that, something that can go to the extreme and cause problems, is when you're actually battling unnecessary battles that cause stress to self and others. So a hero archetype can also cause more stress to themselves and more to others when they are not choosing their fights and they're fighting over everything, because you will find that people are going to have a matter of lots of different opinions, and there are some injustices that definitely need to be spoken about, and really put your foot down and really take a stand for others, because that's better for your soul. But there's also points where you're doing it too much that it's going to cause you stress, and it really is not going to lead to the outcome that you're really looking for. Another positive part of this archetype experience is that you get attention and recognition from others. Those who are aligned with the goodness and the moral order of the world will recognize that within you, that you are somebody who speaks up for those that are innocent and those that are taken advantage of. So you will get the recognition that you're seeking, or it will just naturally happen to you, and that can feel very good for a soul, because every soul wants to feel like they are being validated for who they are and the way that they come into the world. But a negative part of that would be somebody who becomes a hero just to be recognized by others, and that inauthenticity can be discovered by people, and they'll start to see that kind of shining through. So you just have to watch out, because that can be an imbalance, and then that can cause you stress and other people stress, because you're really just causing your own fights and your own battles all the time to be recognized by others, and pretty soon that kind of facade, it definitely does show. The next soul path is the innocent soul path. So this person that comes in with an archetype of the innocent will have an optimistic view on the world and in their life. They see the world in a brighter way, and they think the best of others, and they find potential within others. Now, there's a positive part of this path, is that you'll see things in a better light than most, and this does lead to internal experience of happiness. So those who take on this archetype, a lot of times their inner world is very rich, and their internal experience is very happy. It's filled of a lot of really joyful, happy moments. But there's a negative part of that, where if you are neglecting the truth of reality that is actually happening before your eyes, it can lead you to further denial. So you really have to be careful of that, because eventually the truth will come to the surface. And if you're not really prepared for that, that's when the innocent can become very depressed and very wrapped up in their emotions. And they almost feel like their heart is breaking, and they feel like they can't go on in the world, because they're all of a sudden they have the shock to their system that their world is not as happy as they believe it to be when they come up to some real things that are going on in front of them. So you have to have a balance. You can be happy with your internal experience, but you also cannot really be in denial about what's really going on and what others are experiencing. There's another positive part of this. People like you and are drawn to you because you hold that inner light within, seeing the potential in others and recognizing it within others. People will be drawn to that because they want to be seen in a good light. So they will like you for that, and you will make a lot of friends, and you might become very popular or not so much popular, but people will like you who are on that same kind of vibration as you. And that can feel good to the innocent archetype soul. But something to watch out for is that people can take advantage of you very easily. So a lot of people will be drawn to you both in a positive way but in a negative way. They will see your light, They will say, well, this person thinks the best out of everybody. I'm going to take advantage of that. They will take you for your money. They will take you for your love. They will take you for your body. So just be aware of that and try to be in balance. Another positive part of the soul path is that you wish for a better world and for world's peace. This person will experience a type of optimism about the world and really experience internally kind of a peaceful outlook and feel that the world can go into a peaceful direction. But the negative would be allowing the world to be dependent on your inner peace. So even though you are somebody that takes on the eyes of the innocent and kind of the utopian type of outlook, if your reality doesn't match what you are experiencing on the inside, then you can become easily depressed and sad because you will be experiencing something that's very different from the way that you feel inside. So you have to be in balance and understand that you can wish for world peace, you can have the best intentions within you, but just don't be dependent on the outside world to make you happy and to actually experience true inner happiness. Now, you may have noticed something, that these 12 archetypes also can connect a little bit to the Myers-Briggs personalities. The innocent would be the INFP, and you may see the other types of archetypes within the different Myers-Briggs personality. Of course, the Myers-Briggs personality is about how your brain processes information and what makes you think differently. And the soul archetype is really what the experiences and how they will play out in your life. So when you are aware of the archetype that you play, then you will start to connect all the dots together and understand your life from a higher perspective, where you can actually understand, why are you going through these certain experiences all the time. That is what's going to help you to become more aware of yourself, because really the goal is to be able to encompass all of the archetypes that you see and not just one, but to understand that you have the potential to encompass all archetypes. And that is how you will be a conscious and aware soul walking around on earth and will not be controlled by your subconscious. Everything will be brought to the light and to the surface, and you will be in charge of how you respond and react in your life. And it will lead you to more inner peace and bliss rather than suffering and emotional sadness and depression and feeling like you're helpless. We get to a point where we feel like we're helpless if we are part of the order archetypes, when we start to see the chaotic archetypes succeeding in their plans to cause chaos in the world. Just always remember that you have all the archetypes within you, so that you don't feel like you're losing hope in yourself and in the world at large. And really just be aware of yourself at all times, and that will truly lead you to authentic happiness and bliss and inner peace. And this will always allow you to be truly the sovereign beings that you really are. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all on the next video, where we talk about the opposite of the order, and we will go into the chaos archetypes next.